is Valley News Live at 4.
New for you at 4, a man from Valley City is arrested after being accused of luring a minor from Jamestown, leading to a sexual assault. Investigators say Timothy Radke was sending sexually explicit messages to the juvenile starting in May of this year. The victim was allegedly sexually assaulted by Radke at least once. He was arrested in Valley City on suspicion of sex-related charges, including gross sexual imposition. He's in the Stutsman County Jail awaiting formal charges. The Cass County Sheriff's Office used a drone to find a burglary suspect early this morning. Deputies received a call from a homeowner who say a man carrying a box and walk out of the trailer on the property. The homeowner confronted the man, but he ran into a cornfield. Deputies surrounded that cornfield, and using a drone, they were able to locate and arrest Stephen Murphy. He was taken to the Cass County Jail and is facing charges of burglary and 2 warrants for possessing meth and drug paraphernalia. After Murphy's arrest, the Sheriff's Office learned about a second suspect who took off before they got there. The Traill County Sheriff's Office helped, and deputies were able to locate and interview the second suspect in Hillsborough. Criminal charges are being forwarded to the Cass County State's Attorney's Office. Now here's Nathan with a first look at your forecast.
Hey, thanks, Stacy. We got some more rainfall reports from yesterday. These were from those heavy stationary showers and storms we saw in Grand Forks County yesterday afternoon. So some areas, McKenna area 6 miles east, 6.4 inches of rainfall measured there. 4 miles northeast of Larimore, 6 inches. Then another spot near McKenna, 5.4 inches. Another spot near Larimore, 5.1 inches. Now, that is much needed rainfall, but that pretty much came all at once, so a lot of that did run off, and we of course saw the flooding and the flash flood warning in that area yesterday because of that one really heavy shower in Grand Forks County. Now we're seeing some much more needed rainfall across portions of central North Dakota. This is in southern Stutsman County, moving toward the Ellendale area. These are not severe, but we may be seeing some rumbles of thunder, maybe a bit of a gusty wind along the leading edge of this particular thunderstorm. But by and large, this is not like yesterday's. This is moving, and it's also not as heavy in an isolated spot. So this is just a much needed rainfall we're seeing right now across areas of Lemoore, Dickey, and Stutsman counties. The air quality alert does continue. It's been reduced in size but expanded in time. So it now goes until noon, but notice it's mainly for areas up and down the Red River in Minnesota. So Stacy, still expecting some hazy and smoky conditions into the weekend, but we'll break down that weekend forecast here in a couple minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Nathan. Yeah, we're going from these hazy skies to extreme heat now. Even that flooding Nathan was just talking about. Take a look at this video. Grand Forks County officials say several county roads were washed out yesterday after a storm dumped several inches of rain north of Larimore. Because of the dry conditions, that water quickly receded. A man is in critical condition in a Fargo hospital after a motorcycle crash in Wilkin County last night. The Minnesota State Patrol says it happened at Highway 210 and Highway 9 just after 7:30 p.m. A woman was driving north on Highway 9 and crossed Highway 210. That's when officers say 57-year-old Scott Poirier hit the woman's vehicle. The woman was not hurt, but Poirier was airlifted to Fargo with life-threatening injuries. Those looking for private health insurance in Minnesota have until the end of today to apply. MNsure offered a 5-month special enrollment period because of the pandemic. New benefits include increased tax credits and cost-sharing reductions, and expanded eligibility means more Minnesotans with middle incomes can access benefits. After today, the next enrollment window won't be open until November, with coverage beginning in January 2022. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canada could start allowing fully vaccinated Americans into Canada as soon as mid-August for non-essential travel. The Prime Minister added that if Canada's current positive path of vaccination rate continues, the border can open. Trudeau says Canada should also be in a position to welcome fully vaccinated travelers from all countries by early September. One person is dead after an explosion and fire at an asphalt plant in Oklahoma. Ardmore police started getting 911 calls around 10 this morning after a large explosion. Crews from several fire departments responded to help with that fire. No word yet on what caused the explosion. No one else was seriously hurt. Lawmakers representing several states converged near the nation's capital today. They're determined to keep the focus of the stand against states' attempts to pass restrictive voting measures. Meanwhile, as Natalie Brand reports, federal lawmakers are examining the implications of a recent major Supreme Court ruling which upheld one state's voting rights.
I am an American and I want to vote.
Spotlight on voting rights as legislative Black Caucus members from Texas, Maryland, and Virginia pushed Congress to pass national legislation.
We, all of us, stand in solidarity with our Texas brothers and sisters.
Democratic legislators from the Lone Star State have been in Washington since Monday, preventing the Texas State House from taking a vote on what they're calling restrictive voting measures.
What is the strategy moving forward if the governor continues to call special sessions?
What we intend to do and continue to do is to use our voice, share our story.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is pushing back.
Republicans are making it easier to vote.
The fight for voting rights is also taking place on Capitol Hill. A day after the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Joyce Beatty, was arrested while participating in a peaceful protest. A House subcommittee held a hearing examining the potential impact of the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision upholding two hotly contested Arizona voting rules.
If Congress disagrees with the decision, it can and it should override the court.
Calls for federal legislation have also echoed this week from the White House.
So much of this is not new and is going to require us to be tireless and committed and vigilant in fighting for all people's right to vote.
Yet gridlock remains in Congress, where Democratic lawmakers are pushing for two bills, including one named for late civil rights icon and Congressman John Lewis. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Heightened calls for voting rights legislation also come as the nation marks the one-year anniversary tomorrow of the passing of John Lewis, the U.S. Congressman from Georgia. The search for victims in the rubble of a South Florida condo building may be coming to a close. Miami-Dade fire rescue crews have rescued 97 bodies, with 90 of them now identified. 8 people are still classified as missing or unaccounted for. If 7 of them are matched to the still unidentified victims, that would mean crews are searching for just one more victim in the debris. Crews have not said when they expect the search to end. Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 5, a Fargo man is hoping for peace and closure as this weekend marks the 40th anniversary of a historic building collapse that left his father dead and his mother badly injured. That happened at the Hyatt Hotel in Kansas City after 2 skywalks came crashing down, killing 114 and injuring more than 200 people.
She remembered hearing the pop, when everything separated. She remembers falling. She remembers being under the debris.
This weekend will be that man's first time seeing the hotel in 40 years. His story tonight on Valley News Live at 5. If you sign up to post your land electronically this year, there's another option that might make the process even easier. QR Post is a new North Dakota-based company. They create custom QR codes and signs landowners can post. When hunters want to access the posted land, they can scan the code with their phone. That takes them to a personal request form to notify the landowner to either approve or decline. Co-founder Levi Otis says they got the idea while eating at a restaurant during the pandemic and having to scan a QR code to see the menu. He says QR Post will help keep track of who's hunting and limit interruptions.
Now I don't have to be the awkward guy knocking when they could be eating dinner. Do they eat dinner at 5 o'clock, 6:30? Is it a late night at 8? We don't want to annoy people. Just the simplicity of text messages, and we kind of immerse ourselves with cell phones nowadays that hopefully it is a game changer.
Several landowners in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Texas, and Mississippi have already signed up to get posts. You can learn more on their website, qrpost.com. 34 fire departments from across Minnesota and North Dakota traveled to Dalton, Minnesota this afternoon to honor and pay their respects to the Assistant Fire Chief, Jason Kirschner, who died last week in an ATV accident. One fire chief from the surrounding area says the Dalton Fire Department has never experienced such a tragic loss of one of their own. Kirschner leaves behind his long-term girlfriend and 2 children. Tonight at 6, hear how the community has joined together to honor and celebrate Kirschner's life and commitment to Dalton Fire. Need a dinner idea for tonight? You might be able to snag a free meal from McAllister's Deli. McAllister's just opened its first Fargo location in May, and today they're honoring community heroes. All teachers, medical professionals, veterans, first responders, and military personnel will be treated to a free dinner anytime between 5:30 and 7:30 tonight. Just present your ID or badge to get a meal on the house. They're located at 5600 28th Avenue South, just off of Veterans Boulevard. If you're looking for something fun to do outside the metro area this weekend, the Clay County Fair is happening in Barnesville. It's a 4-day event, and like most events this year, they're expecting a big turnout after having to cancel last year. Here's a live look at the action right now in Barnesville. Of course, you can enjoy staple fair foods, rides, and activities for the kids. You can also catch some fun grandstand entertainment. Tonight is a modified tractor pull that starts at 6:30. There's lots of excitement surrounding the Demolition Derby happening tomorrow night. On Sunday, the Ranch Rodeo starts at 1. As temperatures continue to climb, so does your body temperature, and staying hydrated is your best tool. Alcohol and caffeine will dehydrate your body faster as temperatures increase. Sports drinks are okay, but most contain a lot of sugar. Water is your best option.
And it's really good to also stay indoors if the heat really gets excessive over 100 degrees. So the best thing you can do is find a shaded area as well as drinking enough water.
If you exercise or work outdoors, try to do it during the early morning or late evenings when that heat index is down. And if you're with someone that starts feeling lightheaded or they pass out, call 911 and get them into a shaded area if possible. The Summer Olympics are an exciting time. Coming up on Valley News Live at 4, we're getting a look at some of what Team USA will be wearing.
And your Friday evening plans in Fargo look like this by midnight or so, cooling into those 70s. South wind does stay with us around 10 miles per hour, but skies will stay clear, but still on the hazy side in both Fargo and in Grand Forks. And those temperatures in Grand Forks as we get toward 10 o'clock is when we see those lower to middle 70s working their way in, but a hot and hazy weekend on the way. I'll have your details next.